Don't mind my hair, I just got back from the gym. Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are doing a February book recap, wrap up, whatever you want to call it. February I read 7 books. This camera's a little too high. There we go. I'm also sitting farther back, but it's whatever. Yeah, February I read 7 books. Most of my books were audiobooks because I've been studying for finals. And there's a good chance this video will come out after my finals are done, so you'll hear about that, but yeah. Also, don't mind the dog hair, because my dog sheds a lot. But anyway, the first book I read, I'm going to try something different with this editing. That way I'm not holding this book up the entire time that I'm talking about it, so hopefully it works out. Hopefully you like it. Let me know. I'm trying to edit more of the video, learn how to edit better, you know? We're trying new things. It's fine. Anyway, first book I read in February was A Court of Mist and Fury. I loved this book. This book was great. I was reading and I was going through it and I totally forgot what happened and everything. I remembered some of it, but not really most of it, and that's okay. It's basically like a new adventure, not remembering a book that you've already read. So that was fun. I still think that... No, this is the second book. I was thinking of the third book. No, A Court of Mist and Fury. This is the best book in the series. Hands down. That's my take. I gave this one... Oh, what the heck? I think that this one's the best book in the series because she finally falls in love. But I rated this one second best. Maybe I really did think that the next one was better. Now I'm second guessing myself. You know what? This book is great, nonetheless. This series is great, nonetheless. I rated A Court of Mist. I don't have my glasses on, so this is just all kinds of blurry. I don't like to wear my glasses while I'm recording because the sun and the camera and all that. Back on track. I rated A Court of Mist and Fury 4.5 stars. This book is still highly rated. So even if I think that in my ratings the third book was better than the second one, they're all still highly rated. The lowest rating was the first one, and that's 3.5 stars, which isn't terrible, but it's not great. We all know that the first book is not as good as the second one. So, yeah. Like I said, I love this book. It's definitely a palate cleanser from the first one. That first one, I didn't like. And all because of Tamlin. If you like Tamlin, you're wrong, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. I don't know. A Court of Thorns and Roses is kind of like Throne of Glass in the way that the books kind of blend together and I don't really remember anything that happens in each singular book. But I still love it. Overall, I love it. So, I finished that one early on in the month. I finished that February 6th. Like I said, I've been listening to books while I'm doing my homework and studying for finals. That's how I study. I have to have something going, and I want to watch less YouTube, so I've been listening to more books. So I got that. And it's been helping, for sure. It also helps me get through books faster. So, book number 2 is Phantasma. Oh my god! Phantasma was incredible. I started reading it, physically reading it. I got about halfway. And I realized I was spending more time reading this book than I was studying. So I switched to audiobook because I also found out that Laura Horowitz is the one who voices the audiobook, and I follow her on Instagram, and she's so funny. I love her. So, when I found out that she does the audiobook for Phantasma, I wanted to hear her voice. I've never heard one of her books. I just follow her on Instagram. But Phantasma was amazing. I loved it so much. I loved the trials. I loved the romance. I loved the main character. I gave this book a 5-star. I think it was incredible. I loved it so much. It kept me coming back. The story was very fluid. I loved it a lot. I even recommended this book to my friends. They said that they would read it. Who knows when that will happen, but they said that they would read it. This book was just amazing. I loved it so much, cover to cover. I loved it. It wasn't a 6-star. I wasn't constantly thinking about it, but I do think that the story was amazing how it was. I know that the second book, Enchantra, is out, though I did see that that book is about the sister, and I'm kind of upset because I wanted more of the main character. But I will read that eventually. I'm not going to read it right now. I have more books that I want to read now, but I will read that eventually. I just feel like if I were to read Enchantra now, I would not like it, because I'm not invested in the sister right now. So eventually I'll read it. Just not right now. The third book that I read was daunting, to say the least. A little bit of a letdown, but also kind of surprised me. The Zodiac Academy, The Awakening. Zodiac Academy, The Awakening. I did start off reading the book, and then just the book is so big, like tall, that there's so many words on the page, and I just started listening to the book so I can study. There's something about the book, about how big it is, that I couldn't sit down and read while I needed to study, but whatever. This book, like I've said before, this series is very daunting to me because of how long it is, but I do want to read it and I do want to love it. The thing that was a letdown about this series was that it is a modern fantasy, so how much of modern fantasy it was, that kind of took me out of the story, because I'm not huge into modern fantasies. I want a book that can take me out of modern day, and having books that portray how things are now just doesn't really do it for me. But the fantasy aspect of this book, I loved. I loved the fantasy, I loved the story, so that was surprising to me. I did like the book. I gave it a 3.75. Wasn't my favorite, wasn't terrible. I will be reading the second book. I actually have it on my shelf over here somewhere over there. I'm not going to read it right now, because like I said about Enchantra, I have other books that I want to read first. But I will read it. The story was good. I did like the story. It does have promise for me to really like this series. It's not going to be like a Throne of Glass, like people keep saying, just because of the modern aspect. But the story is good enough to kind of take me away from the modern. But when they do talk about like, oh, I got a notification on my phone, I'm like, ugh. I think it has potential for me to be able to look past it. And I really hope it does, because I really want to like this series. I'm on the hunt for another long series that will get me attached. Nothing will be like Throne of Glass. And I'm forever annoyed that my friend started me off with Throne of Glass when I got back into reading. Or really got into reading. I got into reading when I was younger, kind of got a bunch of books, fell off because I found other hobbies, and then I finally got back into reading, and my friend started me off with Throne of Glass, and I'm forever gonna not like her for that. Because nothing's gonna measure up to Throne of Glass. She's kind of given me some recommendations for long series that I can read, and I will absolutely be delving into those and trying those. But Zodiac Academy has great ratings, and I want to try it. I did like the first one. We'll see how I like the second one. I've heard that the Zodiac Academy first couple books is like A Court of Thorns and Roses. How the first book sucks, the second book is better, but the series all around is great. So hopefully that's the case. I'm holding out hope. Book number 4 that I read this month was A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is the book that I thought was, Court of Mist and Fury. I loved this book. I couldn't remember what happened in this book, so it was like a new adventure. That's what I was saying about this book, that I thought I was talking about that one, but yeah. This book I rated 4.75. Very, very close to being a 5-star. It would have been a 5-star. Let me put the book down because I'm going to have the editing there. It would have been a 5-star if there was less Tamlin. There was times where he was useful, I guess, to add to the plot. But, like, he makes me so angry. He's so angry. It's just, I hate him. I hate him as a character. I hate him as a person. I don't like him. But the book was good. I did like the ending. Love the ending. Not much to say about that book, because I kind of already said it with the other books. I wish I got more of... I mean, the books have been out for over 10 years. Wish I got more of Feyre and Rhys, which I know the next book has some, but that's not what I mean. Anyway, next book that I read. Ha ha ha! A Court of Frost and Starlight. This... My friend told me that this book was going to be a fun little holiday novella. And in a way it was. Then you get to that scene at the end, and it made me uncomfortable the first time. It made me uncomfortable the second time. And it would probably make me uncomfortable the third time if I read it a third time. Like I said before, smut doesn't do it for me. I'm there for the fantasy, I'm there for the love, I'm there for the cuteness, I'm there for the fighting. I'm not there for the smut. I can tolerate it, I don't care if it's there or not, but that one scene, it makes me uncomfortable to think about. It makes me uncomfortable to envision, and I can't read a book without envisioning what's happening. I have such a vivid imagination that I can't not envision something. And I wish I could, because that scene made me uncomfortable. But if you haven't read that scene, read the book. It's only like 200 pages, 250 pages, 230 pages. And you'll get to the part that I'm talking about. But I rated Frost and Starlight a 4.5. Because I did like the storyline of it. I did like the cute little holiday stuff. I did like the family aspect of it. It was still good. I just didn't like that scene. The next book that I read, finally found it. I've been looking for a physical copy of this book, and I finally found it. The Long Game. This is the second book to Heated Rivalry. It is in a interconnected standalone series called Game Changers. And this is the only book that has a... Heated Rivalry is the only book that has a second one to that love story, and the second one is The Long Game. It's also the only book to have a third one, and the third one is coming out, I believe, in oh, wait, no. It got pushed back to next year. So it will be coming out next year. I forget what it's called, but I'll put it on screen. But it's the Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov story. If you haven't seen the show, go watch the show. It's great. Season 2 is coming out next year, I think. I think they're starting to film this year. And the second book, I think, is better than the first. I love the second book. It's so cute. They have a dog! There's a dog in it. I love it. The second one has so much more banter, and I think it's so cute. Obviously, these are romances. There's smut in them, like I keep saying. I don't care if there is or not. I think it's appropriate for this story because of what their history is and what made them into the relationship that they have. So I'm fine with it, but I liked it a lot. This one was also a 5-star. So I now have found two 5 stars in February. That makes up for the lack of 5 stars in January. I loved it. I think it was great. Can't wait for the third one. I'm very excited. And the last book that I read in February. I finished this one on the night of February 28th. Yeah. I kind of rushed a little bit, but Powerless. I was disappointed in this book. I loved the beginning. Loved it. And then it dropped off. And I was dreading picking it up again. And then the trials started. And it got really good. And I loved that part. And then it got slow. It literally spent 3/4 of the book on 3 trials. I think it was a little too long. But I did like it. I liked the love story. I liked the love triangle. I liked the ending, but I could see it from a mile away. I am curious to see what happens in the next book, so I will be reading the series. Just like the other 2 that I said, not right now. But I will continue to read the series. I gave this book a 4-star. It was good, but it just disappointed me because everyone that I've seen that read it has said 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. This book is incredible. I loved it. And it had potential in the beginning, but then it dropped off. And the trials took too long. It did not have to be, what is this, 500 pages? Yeah, basically. It did not have to be 500 pages. That's what I think. But as you can tell, I have the next 2 books. I don't have the novellas, but I have the next 2 books on my shelf. So I will be reading them. Hopefully the second one's better. The third one looks very long, probably about 600 pages. The second one looks about 400 pages. So if it goes where I think it will go, it will be really good. It could go in a completely different direction and still be really good. But it also could go in a completely different direction and be absolutely terrible. I've heard incredible things about this series, so I don't think it's going to be terrible. And if it's anything like the first book, it will at least be pretty good. I don't know. This month, I will have more time to read. I have finals early on in the month, so hopefully the last half of the month I can actually get some really good reading done. I have some good books lined up. I actually have 4 books that are start of 4 new series. I like to just start series, and then if I like the series, I'll keep going, but I usually don't like, unless it was Throne of Glass or A Court of Thorns and Roses, which was a reread, like I said. Unless it's Throne of Glass, I will not read one book, then read the next, then read the next, then read the next, then read the next. I'll usually space them out and start other series, see which ones I like better, see which ones I don't really like. I'll push off some till later. Throne of Glass was something completely different because that's my Roman Empire series. That one I just read one after another because I was hooked. There's a couple books in there that are absolutely 6 stars. And then I also have 2 standalones that I'm currently reading. And I'm finishing up Court of Thorns and Roses this month. We'll see how that goes. Watch out for the next recap video coming out next month. Yeah, I've got so much planned for these next couple months. I've got a short video coming out pretty soon explaining what my goals are coming up and stuff. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, hope you liked the books that I read this month. If you read any of these, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts were, what your star ratings were, what books I should read. If you like this video, please let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.